Hey guys, and welcome back to another Lost Bits video right here on TetraBitGaming, the series where we explore the unused, scrapped, and unseen content in gaming. Friday Night Funkin. This latest trendy boppin' game has been popping off on the net lately, and despite originally having no plans to cover this game, you guys just wouldn't stop requesting it in the comments. So here we are. And to my surprise, this game actually has a decent amount of scrapped stuff. Also, do keep in mind, since this game is still being actively updated, some stuff mentioned in this video may still get re-added to the game in the future. So if you enjoyed this one, let me know and maybe I'll revisit this game in a few updates. Anyways, let's get to it. Go grab your mics, smash that funkin' like button. It's time to Beebo Bopskee Boo and find some lost bits. Alright, well, let's first start off with the prototype of the game that was made for the Ludum Dare 47, hope I said that right, game jam in October of 2020. First, some changes that were seen from this prototype. We got stuff like an updated graphic for the game's title logo, the protagonist's character icon on the bottom was updated to better match his likeness, and the girlfriend in the background was changed to sit on some speakers, rather than just some really basic looking steps. At least I think those are steps. Either way, since this prototype build only contains this one stage, that's about it for the changes here. That said, this prototype actually contains a pair of graphics that don't ever go normally used. First, we have BG, which unsurprisingly is a very basic looking version of the background graphic for this stage. This is very likely just a draft sketch or placeholder background the developer, Ninja Muffin 99, whipped up during initial development during the game jam. Next up is graphics spelt with an X, and as you can see, this file contains what appears to be the same number and timing feedback graphics which are normally used, as well as some early graphics for the boyfriend and daddy dearest. And although the text graphics appear to be the same, they are actually seen separated in the files, leaving these ones in this image unused. Interestingly, this set of graphics has went on to also remain in the current release of the game, where it too remains unused. Next up, let's talk things that were kicking around in the game in older updates, but I believe have since been removed as of the current release. Hope you like early concept doodles, because we got lots of them here. We got this graphic of Skid and Pump facing the camera, this screenshot of the duo taken directly from a Senor Palo video believed to have been used as a reference when creating assets for them for this game, and then we got some early doodles of the duo in several different poses, as well as an animation of the pair groovin', where for 2 frames a blank protagonist head will also pop up. Then similarly, found amongst the graphics for the mom character, we got some more concept sketches of her in a few poses. Additionally though, in this file are also concept sketches for a few unused characters that I guess were once considered to be implemented in week 4. We got this guy, apparently named Stan, who just looks like a disgruntled nerd, and then we got several designs for a crazy stalker type character. There's this more dorky looking one, 2 stalker cat-like characters, as well as this character found in a normal outfit, as well as an even more normal outfit. Since Stan here is holding a mic, it's likely he would have been one of the antagonists the boyfriend was planned to face off against, but as for the others, it's currently unclear if they would have been characters you'd face off with, or if they'd just be background characters. But whatever the case may be, I'm really curious as to what was going on with this. Anyways, moving along, there's also more early sketches that weren't used, like a sketch of Pico's gun being pointed towards the player, this collection of sketches of the boyfriend and a few of the antagonists, a sketch of the boyfriend watching something on his phone, another sketch of several of the game's characters including Newgrounds mascot Tankman, who as of yet still has not been added into the game, and finally some doodles of what are apparently developers of this game, including one where this guy just does not give a funk about being barrel stuffed in the back of the head. Now, in addition to the scrapped characters I mentioned found left over with the sketches for the mom, there are actually a few more characters that have been removed from the game. First up is Lucky Boy, a cool backwards hat-wearing sock puppet that loves to shred on his little Gretsch Bo Diddley square guitar. Lucky Boy was apparently designed by Dom Rom Art and was actually never meant to be included in the game at all in the first place. Apparently, unbeknownst to him, Lucky Boy was added to the game by one of Ninja Muffin 99's friends, Brandy. Since Lucky Boy was never actually planned to be included, he was ultimately removed from the game before the version 0.2.5 update to the game. Sorry, Sock Boy, maybe we'll see you back sometime in the future. Additionally, there was also an unused audio track that was added in and removed along with Lucky Boy, and this was a file titled Video Games, which was a clip of the song Video Games by the Blackout Band. Out of copyright concerns, I won't be playing it here, but be sure to check it out if you are interested. And lastly is this original Santa Hat-less design of the monster. Now, this character was eventually added in the final phase of the Week 5 chapter update, but originally it's likely the monster was intended to be part of Week 2. And it would make sense that something is scrapped here, as Week 2 only features 2 songs as opposed to the regular 3. And although the monster got the Winter Horrorland song when added to Week 5, the original planned song for the monster, just currently titled Monster, still goes unused. This is one of the few songs to contain actual lyrics instead of a bunch of beeps and bops. It's all about eating people, turning them into broth, or shoving them in a meat box. You know, typical stuff. Now, apparently the monster and this track were initially cut since Ninja Muffin had troubles mapping the song, but a user by the name of Chaotic Gamer CG actually managed to do it and even got the blessing of Ninja Muffin. Based on this post here, it seems like he was planning on adding it back into the game, but as of making this video, this is still not the case. However, since the song is basically ready to go, I wouldn't be surprised if it was re-added in the future. Either way, if you haven't heard it yet, here's a quick sample of it and how it was potentially meant to appear as recreated by Chaotic Gamer.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna eat your girlfriend. Or maybe turn her into broth.
Additionally, there are apparently even more unused frames of the monster that aren't even present in the game at all, as shown by the game's lead artist Phantom Arcade in a TikTok. There he showed off apparent real animations of the monster that he said no one had.
This is a Friday Night Funkin' leak. You guys don't even have the right file. You guys are playing with the wrong one.
Another fun fact is that despite many believing the monster to be a reference to Lemon Demon, the fella behind classic Newgrounds hits like Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny, Ninja Muffin had gone on record to flat out deny that this is the case. Oh yeah, and if you thought this was creepy, there's also this unused concept artwork of the monster emerging from a bleeding jack-o'-lantern. It's currently unknown whether this was just an early design or a planned second phase to the fight or something, but regardless, this is just all sorts of whack. Now, before moving on to the current release, 2 things. Lastly, for the stuff removed from earlier versions is this graphic of the girlfriend crying on the early step graphics seen in the prototype. I assume this was likely just intended to be used when the player would fail a song. And secondly, I mentioned the currently unimplemented Tankman character, but there are actually 2 other characters that have also been teased, but as of yet aren't available. First is Cassette Girl, a character that's yet to appear in any games or animations created by Soft Dawn, and also a second upcoming character named Hank J. Wimbledon, the main protagonist in a series of Flash animations and games called Madness Combat. Basically the original John Wick. Now this really takes me back. I remember watching and playing stuff from this series on school computers like 15 years ago. Ah, good times. Anyways, now let's finally move on to the final, or should I say current release of the game as of making this video, where there are several things that are still found left unused in the files. In addition to the unused monster song we went over earlier, there are actually 3 more unused songs left over in the game. Well, at least references to them. The first of these is called Smash, and although there isn't much left for it, apparently this was the first song that Ninja Muffin charted for the game when developing it. The name is derived from the song in question actually being the Break the Target's background music from Super Smash Bros. Melee. For those that haven't ever played the GameCube classic, this is a sample of what it sounds like. As a big Nintendo and Smash Bros. Fan, it's awesome to see that Ninja Muffin used this song as a test, but it's unsurprising why the song was scrapped. Next up is a song titled Ridge, and much like Smash, not much is left over for it either. Also similar to Smash, Ridge gets its name from the song being taken from the game Ridge Racer Type 4. Unlike Smash, however, this song can actually be forced in via mods, so if you really wanted to play this song in the game, it is still possible. For those curious, here's a quick snippet of what it sounds like.
With a silent stare, racing through the open air, he's without care.
And the last song that's left over unused is known as Test Inst. And yeah, based on its name, this appears to have been a track used to test instruments. This was added in the Week 5 update, but obviously I don't think the song was ever planned to be normally accessible. It is quite a bop though, not gonna lie. There's also an accompanying file called Test Voices, but unfortunately it's just completely silent. Now those are all the full songs, but there are actually a few more smaller unused audio files that go unused as well. First up are title and title shoot, and these are leftovers of the title screen and confirmation sounds from the Ludum Dare prototype respectively. Why are they still in the game? Good question, but regardless, here's a quick sample of both. Then next we got a file listed as sound test, and this is basically just a metronome, probably used to keep the beat when making songs for the game. And lastly, there are 4 unused sound effects for the girlfriend, listed as GF1 through 4. Alright, moving on, the game's current release 2 has quite a few graphics that go unused, with some of them being quite strange. First though are some unused character icons for the bottom bar during a battle, with each having a normal and defeated variant. These are for a really basic face, the old boyfriend graphic used before the Week 4 update, as well as a set for the Tank Man, which again will probably be coming to the game in the near future. Now I just mentioned the leftover audio files, but there are also still some leftover graphics from the prototype too. These include both the original title graphic as well as the lose and restart graphics once used for when you fail a song. Next up are some unused UI graphics telling the player to press the backspace key to exit a certain menu. It's not exactly clear why these were scrapped, perhaps the developers just felt it was already obvious or intuitive for the players to do this. Then next up we have some unused speech bubbles. Now these all just look like conceptual designs, but Ninja Muffin has expressed interest in adding more dialogue to the game to deepen the story, as we've seen in Week 6. So who knows, maybe we'll see these designs added in someday. Although this lock graphic was once seen in older versions of the game, it now goes unused, although it's still found kicking around in the story mode selection graphics. Before, you had to play through Week 1 to play Week 2, and that's where the lock was used, but now you can just play any of the weeks in any order you want, thus removing the need for this lock. Next is a set of unused, shaded, and unshaded graphics for the dancing fellas seen in the background of Week 4, that suggest that there's a scrapped segment in which they would suffer a horrible fate and would literally be torn into pieces. It's unclear exactly how this was supposed to play out, but I am certainly intrigued. Now moving along, we got the unused graphics that are a bit more unconventional. These are all seemingly left in as a joke, as they don't seem to serve any other purpose than being a hidden secret. Anyways, first up is this screenshot of a highlighted message on Twitch in which Lil Green Fry demanded to be added into the game. Well, I guess they got their wish. This file is listed in the game simply as LOL. Next is a screenshot of a YouTube video, and this file carries the title of a bunch of Zeds. The video that is screenshotted here is titled 4 Newgrounds and was uploaded by Joshua the Diaz YTR. And this is just a 1-second video apparently showing off his OC, known as Joshua, who appears to just be a colorless version of the boyfriend. Based on the nature of this recharacterization and the file name, I guess the developers were poking fun at the simplicity of this original character. I gotta say, I especially like the recorded by Mobyzen here. Nice touch. And lastly is an unused screenshot of a 4chan post from January 15th, 2021, known as Screen Cap Tier Image. The file name obviously stems from the user here specifically stated they were trying to not make a screen cap tier post. GG Anon, you made it into the game. Now, stuff like this is very seldom seen left over in games, but I certainly appreciate it when it is. Friday Night Funkin' also has a few unused animations for some of the characters. First, for the girlfriend, there are animations of her being happy, her ducking down, as well as ducking down, but with her hair blowing in the wind. Then we have some unused animations for the boyfriend, which also show off some currently unused mechanics for the game. We got him preparing to and actually throwing his mic in what looks like an attack animation, as well as him dodging an incoming attack. When asked about these, Ninja Muffin stated that initially his idea for this game would have featured more gameplay layers like attacking and dodging. He also mentioned that they might revisit these mechanics in the future, so that'd be pretty cool. Evidence of dodging and attacking can also be seen in other characters like Lucky Boy, and the unused graphics for the girlfriend ducking might have also been tied to the dodging mechanic as well. And last up for the currently unused animations are some normally never seen for Pico. These are of Pico missing an up, down, left, and right note. Now, as of making this video, Pico is normally not a playable character, and since when battling against him, the AI never misses, these don't go used. Now, I stress normally because you can actually force the game to let you play as Pico by using its debug mode, which we'll come back to later. But yeah, technically, if you do use that, you can actually see these animations in the game. Anyways, next up, there are remnants left in the game of an unimplemented options menu. We got these two animated graphics for it, which can actually still be re-added back into the game by replacing the donate button on the main menu. The option menu would only allow for rebinding keys, that is, if it would work. Attempting to rebind the keys in the current build will just lock up the game. Although it's unused now, I'd be surprised if it doesn't get re-implemented at some point. It's been a while since we took a look at some unused text strings, but thankfully, Friday Night Funkin's got us covered. First up, found amongst the text strings of the game's characters, there's one referencing a template. Pretty self-explanatory. Next up is a part of the game's coding which references some sort of test button that would have had "click me" written on it, which would change to "thanks" when clicked. And lastly, in the source code, there's more coding that reveals scrapped dialogue for the tutorial and week 1 stages. This unused dialogue here instructs the player to use the arrow keys in the tutorial stage. It would have had the father verbally challenging the boyfriend if he wanted to date his daughter, as well as what appears to be some sort of transitional segment to a different area. And now for the last stop of this video. I briefly mentioned it earlier, but the current version of the game has a not-so-secret debug mode that can be accessed by simply pressing the 7 key while in any stage. Like I mentioned earlier, with this menu you can choose which character you want to play as, and you can basically choose any character that's in the files of the game. You can also choose your opponent, so if you wanted to set up specific battles in a song with this debug menu, you certainly can. You can even battle against the boyfriend, something that's otherwise never seen. The only issue with this is if you try to do so, the boyfriend will just appear hovering above ground, and I don't think it's meant to be like this. Additionally, with this debug menu, you can customize the charting for the song basically however you want. So if you want to make a song more difficult, easier, wacky, or completely insane, with this menu you are certainly able to do so. It's not the most robust debug menu we've seen on Lost Bits, but it's certainly pretty cool, and it adds a lot of customization to the game. Some even believe that this menu is a precursor to a future character selection screen for the hopefully upcoming battle mode. And that about wraps it up, at least up until week 6. Like I said, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to let me know with a like down below, and also let me know if you'd like me to revisit this game in the future after a few more weeks have been added. But as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in a bit.